With the ban list right around the corner, I wanted to talk about the top 10 things I kind of be keeping an eye on pre-list, and some of these will, depending on how the list affects things, kind of come to pass and some not come to pass. So make sure you guys smash that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more excellent content. Let's dig on into the top 10 things that I would keep an eye on for going forward for the ban list, shall we? Number one on our list here is the Alpha King of the Beast. And I'm going to be honest with you here. One brought this up to my attention, was like, you know, depending on how the list shapes up here, Alpha can either become the best stable side deck card in existence, or the card can continue on its path here. Now, depending on how a list, well, there's always lots of hypothetical what-ifs here, you know, but depending on how a list shapes up here, Alpha will be something that you're going to want to monitor. So it could be today, it could be tomorrow. You could see a list make Alpha the best side deck card in existence, and you're all of a sudden you're looking at these what were $20, $25 Alphas shooting back up to the $40 mark, and you're like, uh-oh. So I would kind of keep an eye on Alpha right now for, once again, potential going forward. This card has more potential than Miradora in the long run, at least in our meta game for this point in time. So, hey, good generic cards, by the way. Who would have guessed? Number two on our list is Infinite Impermanence. Now, depending on how we go about wanting to address the current issues in the format with Virtual World and their cool dumping powers, I do have a very nice feeling that we will see a return of Infinite Impermanence in some degree. Now, typically right now, Imperm is not a very high impact hand trap. I mean, like, Ash is doing more than Imperm is, and Ash isn't even that high impact right now. So, depending on how things shape up right now, Imperms, they're not going to change dramatically in price. You might see a little bit upward movement up if the card does actually return back to the metagame. But you do have to keep an eye on things like, well, Imperm was very good like the last couple formats. We come in, you know, VW and the interactions for the dumping effects is really nothing that you can negate. And, you know, like the Chuchi interaction with Mr. True King kind of made Imperm obsolete for this format. So keep an eye on that for future takes here. Next up is Electrumite. And I'm going to be honest with you here. I personally don't think Electrumite's coming back. I know there's a lot of people talking about it, and I'm going to acknowledge that. But right now, it is very important to keep an eye on Electrumite's price. All right, Electrumite is basically the glue that keeps pendulums together. All right, like, the card is very good. Speaking of, you know, Electrumite, if Electrumite does come back into the format, you can bet your butt that Imperm rolls back on into the format as well as the optimized counter to Electrumite. So, as of the way that things are going right now, I would keep an eye on Electrumite. I don't think the price is going to rock back and forth too much more, but it is going to be one of those things that you're going to have to be like, oh, well, all of a sudden it's worth a lot more. But then that would mean that we'd be getting a reprint of it sometime soon, which would effectively bring down the price anyway. But something to keep an eye on for all intents and purposes right now. Number 4 here is TriBrigade as an engine. Now, effectively, if they do something to Zodiac Eldritch, to VW, and to Drytron, you can bet your butt that the TriBrigade engine is going to shift up to probably at least one of the best decks in the format. There's not a single doubt in my mind that we won't see some sort of craziness, because considering how well this, like, as an engine, that this deck is able to filter together the format, it is relatively amazing. Kit made this deck a lot better. Yes, we do get the Spell and Spell and Trap Searcher here in June as we head on into the future release of the set. But for March right now, I really think the TriBrigade is going to push itself up into the best position going forward. So keep an eye on those cards. Now, speaking of TriBrigade here, the next point here is going to be the Samorig Link monster. Now, as we head forward here with the whole TriBrigade expectancy to push itself up to a higher tier, you have to look at the Samorig Link monster and go, alright, so I'm able to special summon the Stormwind statue, which lets me, you know, jam out my opponent. But technically, so the Samorig Link monster, it's actually interesting because you would lose a little bit of metagame potential there if you would technically be playing mirror matches all day. But that's a story for another day. So the Samorig Link monster, if TriBrigade starts moving, yes, they're going to start seeing more and more play, which means that, oh, hey, look at that. I can do more Stormwind plays. I can special summon Apex for a negate off of it. Yes, there's a whole bunch of interactions you can do. So I'd also keep an eye on the Samorig Link monster in combination with the TriBrigade engine, just on that aspect of it is the card that goes with it. All right? Now, we also have Dragon Link, but I want to specifically talk about Armed Dragon Flash for this little instance here. So yes, we do have the Dragoon Destructure deck coming. All right, I'm aware it's getting imported into Ghosts from the Past. Going forward, if they choose to do something to Dragon Link, a few players have already been taking conditional looks at Armed Dragon Flash and going, well, it is an extender starter. And yeah, it basically allows you to bring out and start cool combo with dragons. Now, I'm not saying that, oh my god, you should pick up Armed Dragon Flash right now. No. The key point of this video is to go, hey, players are talking about this right now. Obviously, it's not optimal with how the deck is at this point in time, but if more hits or something else happens, you do have Armed Dragon Flash as one of those potential cards as that extender for that deck. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing if that theory actually takes off, depending on how a ban list shapes up here. All right, now, for other metagame contenders, we gotta give it up here for Yield Phantom Knights. Once again, depending on how things are hit, you know, we've had Phantom Knights moving around in the lower tables of pretty much all of these events, which means one thing, baby. You could potentially see the combo Phantom Knight build. What is it, like you play like 2 BA cards in the deck, if that, just as level 3s that you can bring out, which I guess, but you're probably going to see more of that control build with the whole Rusty shenanigans return back into the metagame, which I think a lot of players are going to be happy on. So keep an eye on those torn scales right now, kind of see if there's any crazy movement, and just be aware of the whole general situation once again with a list like TriBrigade and Phantom Knights are floating around in that bottom area that they can shift up, I mean, along with dinosaurs and things like that, but that's a story for another day. Now, depending on how a list can shape up, we also have to mention Dogmatica here. The Dogmatica package is still very expensive. Like, it's ungodly expensive. You know, Nadir Servants, Ecclesias, Maximus isn't that expensive, but just for a tech engine to put into a rogue deck, like, you're going to be spending that amount of money just to get that rogue carry. Like, it's literally the toolkit to allow rogue the chance to do well functionally. So I would keep an eye on Dogmatica at this point in time, just as the overall potential for it going up for rogue picks. Because once again, it's that nice glue. I also don't expect Nadir Servant to get hit this list. I know it got hit in the OCD, but we're not hardly doing anything with Nadir right now, so there's no point for them to touch it here. So yeah, your nice little budget, well, you got a budget deck, you want to put some glue in it to make it better. There you go. That's literally the story of Dogmatica for you. Now, I also put Trap Tricks on this video because there's always an interesting movement with Trap Tricks in general. Like, yeah, I know Sarah's a really good card. They have very good support coming out here in the future, but that's still 3 months away of making this video. So at this point in time, I want to say this. I think that Trap Tricks Sarah is still a really cool card. There's still some cool interactions you can do with the deck. The overall trap potential for the engine, it's cool. It's one of the better stun decks out there right now. So just kind of keep an eye on Trap Tricks and going, is Sarah going up more? I don't think she's going to go up too much more, but an impact of future support can do a lot of crazy things in such a short amount of time. So once again, keep an eye on Trap Tricks just for the overall potential for that rogue pick, all right, especially going forward into the next set. And the last thing I want to talk about for this video is Magician Souls. Now, depending on how a format gets hit here, depending on how much can actually happen, we could see the return of the Magician Soul draw engine. Now, considering that you can drop Fleur de Lis off of it, you can also tech it in with your Dogmatica package to get draw power. Now, once again, I say, depending on how the rest of the list shapes up, will really determine on if we get good mileage out of this return, or if this is going to be one of the more spectacular passive ends, depending on how a format shapes up. So I definitely keep an eye on Magician's Soul. It's one of those weird cards that, yeah, it hasn't got the reprint yet. I do expect to get a reprint in the next, I would say, 6 months easily. But looking at how the card is going right now, it is one of the sleeper draw cards of the format. So, guys, that is my top 10 cards and decks I would keep an eye on heading on into a ban list at this point in time. So make sure you guys smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more excellent content. And I'll see your freaking beautiful faces back here later on in the day for some more cool, awesome content. Peace out.
Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out VanCool40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by MCool40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out mcoolgames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.